Right, so let's take a look at creating the controllers. To create the neck controllers, right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create null groups, okay, for the first and the second, and also let's do it for the head as well. Okay, so I'm just going to press Ctrl G. Right, so I'm going to select the first neck join followed by the null group. Okay, constraint, ensure maintain offset is turned off, and add. Okay, and then delete away that particular constraint join or constraint node, sorry. Okay, so now once we have this, let's rename this. So neck 1 underscore grp. Okay, and then we're going to create another null here at the neck 2. Okay, so select neck 2 followed by the null group. Okay, parent constraint, delete away the constraint node. Okay, let's rename it neck 2 underscore grp. Okay, and let's do it for the head as well. Press Ctrl G, select the head joint followed by the null group, constraint parent, delete away the constraint node, and let's rename this head underscore grp. Okay, right, so let's go ahead and create the controllers. I'm going to use a simple NURBS control. Okay, so let's create a NURBS circle. Okay, I'm going to select, right, the NURBS circle followed by joint neck join 1. Okay, neck 1 joint, and then we're going to just press P. Okay, and then just zero them out. Okay, should snap right straight there. Okay, let's do a little bit of resizing here. Okay, as you can see, sometimes it's good to kind of space out your controllers a little bit better, because it's going to get a little bit crowded, okay, around this region over here. Okay, but let's see how we do. I think that should be quite okay. Right, so what we can do is I'm going to just rearrange this. Okay, so where are we? Okay, NURBS circle. Oops, I think I kind of parented to the wrong guy, right? So the NURBS circle should go actually underneath the group. I'm going to select the NURBS circle followed by the neck 1 group parent. Okay, it's not the joint. Right, so again, because the neck group is already aligned with the joints, as you can see, okay, the NURBS circle, it's kind of already clean. Okay, all we need to do is, because we resize it, okay, make sure you select the scale and free scale. Okay, make sure back to 1. Now with controllers on NURBS circle, you can also ensure that it's clean by, okay, delete all type, delete by type history. Okay, then everything here is kind of clean. Right, but remember, do not freeze transform. Okay, because we need the y-axis to be pointing up, okay, and the z pointing front, and so on and so forth. Okay, and also align with the joint. Okay, if the joint is slightly slanted, we want the controller to also be slightly slanted. Right, so next, okay, because again, just like the torso, this is the middle. What I'll do is I'm just going to color it as well. Okay, so let's go to drawing overrides. We'll color it green. Okay, right, so I'm going to create another NURBS, and this time I'm going to parent it to the neck group 2. Okay, not the joint, as with my mistake earlier on. Right, so let's scale this down. Sometimes you gotta kind of balance between not overlapping with other controllers, but at the same time you do not want it to be such a chore of or difficulty for the animator to kind of grab the controller itself. Okay, if it's too small. Now, so I have the controller here. Right, so let's do some naming. So the first one just now I have not renamed. I'm going to connect one underscore control. Okay, this is going to be called neck2 underscore control. Okay, one thing we can do the same is to freeze scale, and you can see some kind of history here. Let's delete by type history as well. Okay, nice and clean. Let's color it as well. There you go. Right, and over here the next one I'll do is I'll do the head. Okay, so the head is kind of interesting, okay, because you don't normally want to do ring type in the middle of the head. Okay, it might distract the facial animation. Okay, so usually we put globe control or nub circle, whatever it is, but we put it on top of the head. Okay, so in this instance I'm going to use globe control. So I'm going to use my trusty nub circle template, Control D. Right, I'm going to unhide it. Okay, and I'm going to parent it to the head group. Press P and zero it out. It should snap somewhere here. Let's isolate it. There you go. I'm just going to go to control vertices. I'm going to select the control vertices, and using object mode I'm just going to drag it up, okay, at the top of the head. Now if you have hair, make sure you rise it above the hair, okay, so that it's not blocked. Okay, so my controller looks as if it's at the top of the head, but when I select it, the pivot point is here at the joint. Okay, so let's call this head control. Okay, what else do we need to do? Okay, we can color it. Okay, in this case I have to bring my shapes. Okay, standardize with the spine all the way up, green color. There you go. Hide it away. Okay, kind of more or less quite done here. Okay, so hierarchy wise, right, so now the head group is something special. Okay, I'm not going to parent it in. It's just like your spine tree, whether your spine tree follows the whole spine, or if you select don't follow body, right, then it will not follow. Okay, so we're going to do that for the head as well, because sometimes you like the character to kind of just turn and look at something while the body is doing something else. Okay, so the head is always focused on a particular object, right? So you can choose whether the head, okay, the rotation of the head follows the body, or just, okay, if it's you're doing a walk cycle, right, maybe the head is always steady, focusing towards the front. Okay, so can follow or don't follow body, right? So I'll do the head later. So first things first is the neck. Okay, so the neck group 2, okay, I'm going to parent it under the neck 1 control. Okay, so remember this technique we use for the arms. Okay, so you have a group, underneath the group you have the controller, underneath that controller you have the next group, and underneath that group you have the controller. Okay, so when you move this controller, okay, the top one should follow. Okay, now so the neck group, neck 1 group, where do I parent it to? Okay, I parent it to straight to the spine control. Okay, so I can just take neck 1 group followed by spine. Okay, 03 control, press P. Okay, so when you move your chest, you can see now my neck control kind of follows. Okay, now I'm going to grab the neck controller followed by the neck joint. Okay, then I'm going to go to constraint, parent constraint, maintain offset turn off, click add. Okay, so now if I move my controller, okay, you can see it will follow, it will control the joint itself. Right. Okay, so select the controller followed by neck to joint, constraint parent. So now if I select the second controller and rotate, okay, I can kind of control it as well. Okay, I'm going to select the head control followed by the head joint. Let's do the same, parent constraint. So now if I move the head joint or head control, the head joint will follow. Okay, but if I move okay, as you can see, right, if I move the body, okay, right, the head doesn't follow. Okay, now one thing for sure is, right, we always want the head control to follow in terms of position. So if I move or I rotate my chest backwards, okay, I want the head to not be disconnected. So I want the head to always stay here. Okay, but whether or not it follows in terms of rotation or it's just stay looking right straight ahead, okay, I want that to be the switch. Okay, but in terms of position, it needs to follow. Okay, if not, then it's very weird, right? Your head and your body is disconnected. Now, so with that said, okay, what we're going to do is we are going to use a point constraint, okay, and an orient constraint. Okay, so point constraint is for following. Okay, so what I'll do is I select my okay, neck to group, or sorry, neck to control, followed by my head group. Okay, remember you have a head group. Okay, select the head group, constraint, point constraint. Now I'm going to click point constraint. I need to make sure I turn on maintain offset. Okay, if I don't, what happens? Okay, the head is just going to snap down to the neck position. Okay, so make sure maintain offset turn on, add. Okay, so now if let's say the whole body move backwards, you can see my head is always sticking to the neck. Okay, so that is the cool part, right? Now, but in terms of rotation, it doesn't necessarily flex along. Okay, so if you look at the head, okay, especially look at the eye joints, they are looking straight. So now if I bend my body backwards, it's following internal position, but you can see, okay, it is still looking straight ahead. Okay, now the next thing I'll do is I'm going to select the neck to control, okay, followed by the head group. I'm going to click on orient constraint. Okay, so orient constraint, I'm going to make sure maintain offset is turned on. I'm going to click add. So now if we take a look at our outliner, so our head group, okay, they actually have both point and orient constraint. Okay, so if you think about it, if you have these two together, it's as good as having a parent constraint. But why we do it separately is because point constraint will always be turned on because your head needs to follow the position of the neck. But our orient constraint, we can turn on and turn off. Okay, so for example, if I rotate my body backwards, okay, now you can see my head is also, okay, tilting backwards. Okay, now my character is looking up into the air, but when I click on the orient constraint, I turn off the constraint. Okay, now my head can be always be looking straight, so I can choose, okay, when my body move, whether my head is constantly looking straight ahead, or if I turn on my orient constraint, okay, wherever my body flexes, my head will follow in terms of rotation. Okay, flex the body down, okay, the head now looks down as well. Okay, so the orient constraint can turn on and off, okay, to follow body or don't follow body, right? So that is the option we are giving the animators. Okay, so there you go. Now again, right, we are adding these constraints on the head group. Okay, will the animators see the head group when they are not looking at the outliner? The answer is no, right? So what we need to do is we need to select the control. Now translate, we can keep it, rotate, we can have it as well. Okay, but I don't need scale. I'm going to hide it away. Lock and hide. I'm going to add an attribute at the head control here. Okay, same thing. I'm going to just call it follow capital B for body. Okay, so 0 to a maximum of 10, default at 0, click add. Okay, so you have a slider for the follow body. Right, so let's do the set driven key now. Okay, so I'm going to select the head control, load as a driver. Okay, and for the driven, we need to actually select the head group's orient constraint node. Okay, load it here. Okay, you can see. So when the follow body is 0, okay, your orient constraint is also 0. Okay, then let's key them. Now, when your follow body is at 10, okay, your orient constraint is at 1. Okay, key. Okay, so now animators can choose. Okay, the moment follow body is 10, so when my character chest turns down, you can see now my head is looking down. Okay, the moment I unfollow the body, I slide it down to 0, the head can start to turn back up. Okay, or it can start to turn back down, up, down, up, down. Right? Okay, so you give the option to the animators. Right? Okay, so an example, select the head controller. Now I'm looking to the left, I'm looking to the right of the character. Okay, but okay, my body can still be walking around and swinging. Okay, but the head will just stay put. At the moment it's following the body. Okay, so ta-da. Okay, so when you're doing walk cycle and the character is kind of shaking from right to left, the head can always be stabilized. Okay, it's not going to rock. Or if the fella is really drunk or something like that, okay, you're bobbing around and then the head can also follow. Okay, there's no issue here. Right. Okay, so this is for the neck and head control. Okay, in the next video I'm going to be showing on the jaw and also the eye control.